Is that too loud? Is it too loud, guys? And we're off. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles. Wednesday, January 25th, 2023 AD. Some crazy tornadoes been happening around the country. An earthquake happened in LA at 2 a.m. I checked my watch. I checked my handy-dandy watch. I have another watch. Shout out to It's the Real Mr. Mad. Hopefully I'm not doxing him. Thank you for the watch, man. I got to figure out how to set it. Got to get my trifling self to set that watch. I'm going to shout out a health share company that I'm using that saved my bank account, I guess you could call it. During my beta back and surgery and my 3 months off time. And by the way, shout out to Bond and JLP for not firing Hake during his time of infirmary, whatever. And I also want to touch on Steven Crowder. Everybody judging Steven Crowder. Just a little bit. I don't really have any new information for you guys, but Steven Crowder's he is my competitor. And I'll also get to your calls, guys. I'll talk about this unladylike woman who's a Twitter user from Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. My grandma's from New Jersey, I think, or was. And Buzz Aldrin. I want to talk about Buzz Aldrin. He got married a fourth time. I talked about it in Hake News. Terrible. A fourth time, and he's 93 years old on his 93rd birthday. But we're not judging him. He went to the moon. I was going to say he went to NASA. And you guys, you moon landing deniers, and you ball earth skeptics, you can call into my show, and we'll have a nice talk. How about that? All that. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my Trump t-shirt. Can you tell that it says Trump? Are you able to tell? Or the shadow is making it too hard to see? I'm looking on the screen and I can't even tell. On the monitor? If I'm looking up there, I'm looking at the monitor. FYI. But it's a nice Trump t-shirt. I got it from the Trump Tower. I bought it for myself. Who else would buy it for me? Trump Tower in Las Vegas. And by the way, the Las Vegas Trump Tower, or whatever you call it, is not a Trump hotel, is not a casino. People were saying we shouldn't support Trump because he has casinos and gambling is a sin. And I don't know if it's a sin, but it's, Christians shouldn't gamble. Shouldn't waste your money. Shouldn't get into the, is it a real addiction? The mental mode of gambling? It sucks you in, right? And sure enough, he didn't own a casino or run a casino or whatever. And even that Atlantic City one or Taj Mahal or whatever, the casino aspect of it was not owned by him, I heard. So shout out to Donald Trump. He's a moral man after all. I'm chuckling because people say, oh, he's so immoral because he was, according to his own admission, out of control sexually. In terms of getting married multiple times, kind of like Buzz Aldrin. So, but it's in the past. It's in the past. He's a moral man now, right? Some of you guys don't like Trump because he is a vaccine salesman. So what? Maybe it did save some lives. You guys can call in about that too. Yeah, the Trump thing, I think it is faded, but it was faded to begin with. Maybe you can read it. I just can't. I have very good eyes. So let me shout out a little my health share company, Samaritan Ministries. One of you guys listens to this show. There's a couple of companies out there. After Obamacare came in, they came to the forefront, because Obamacare had this thing called the individual mandate, which I think Trump got rid of. He got rid of that. So all you guys who was it? I think maybe that McCain guy did thumbs down on getting rid of Obamacare, or he did thumbs down on something just to get back at Trump. What a vindictive, nasty rhino, huh? And with Obamacare, though, everybody had to have so-called health insurance. And so I'm like, I don't want to have health insurance. I was over the age of 26, so I couldn't go under my parents. Can you believe that? It's so ridiculous. Talk about keeping men boys at an old age. 26 years old, you can still be under your so-called your parents' so-called health insurance. Stupid. Sorry, kids, adults. Talk about keeping them immature and not taking care of themselves at older and older and older ages, because they make the cost of living go up. They put women working. They put in minimum wage. They meddle in businesses, the government, and favor the big businesses and all kinds of mess to mess with our capitalism, our Christian version of capitalism, Christian capitalism. That's not an oxymoron, is it? Some people think it is. I think there is a more moral way of capitalism, but I could be wrong, but I think there is. But no, we have socialism. And not the Christian kind of socialism. Maybe there's I don't know if there is. And so I'm like, okay, let me sign up for this. I heard about this Samaritan Ministries. And on the conservative radio, you would hear about some health share company that wasn't Samaritan Ministries, but another one. And so I've been on there ever since Obamacare. Obama doesn't care. And paying it. So you would send a check directly to whoever they told you to send it to, $200-something or $500-something or whatever. And then a voluntary $25 to somebody who has like a tooth problem, because dental is not covered by regular health insurance. Or if you have pre-existing conditions, it's not covered. Pre-existing conditions. Obamacare tried to force people to cover pre-existing conditions, and then that would break some of these companies. In the olden days, some of that stuff was covered. In the good old days, when we weren't overpopulated with trash people who don't take care of themselves and all that stuff. And so people were able to take care of things. And the health costs weren't climbing because everything wasn't subsidized. Subsidizing stuff only makes it more expensive, by the way. I don't understand all that stuff, but I kind of understand that. You subsidize housing, just rising the cost of housing, all that, you know? And so I signed up for this thing, and sure enough, I had to use it. I used it once years ago with my beta back. Hake understands economics like he understands geography. True enough. But I understand it pretty well. And then I had to use it again with my 3 months out surgeries. Oh my gosh. Blue. It's amazing how much. And when you're paying cash yourself or paying yourself, you get a major discount. Whew. I was looking at the cost. It was like 10 times more because of insurance companies. And also frivolous lawsuits. Lawyers, not good people. Exceptions, of course, to the rule. Lawyers do these lawsuits on on these companies, and it costs ups their costs and their insurance and all that stuff. What a racket and a scam. Taking people to court. What value does that bring? It shouldn't be enabled. You get to keep your doctor. If you like your doctor, you get to keep your doctor. That was one of the lies of Obamacare. Total lie. Terrible lie. So, shout out. And so I would send checks every month, and to this day. But not just anybody can sign up for these things. You have to drink in moderation, or not drink at all. Better yet, right? You can't smoke, I think. You're not allowed to smoke. I don't know if it mentions anything about pot. Probably doesn't. But anyway, shout out. Other people use Kaiser insurance, and Kaiser's not Christian. And these Samaritan Ministries people, some of them are nicey nice Christian. It feels like a nicey nice Christian. But nice. So I appreciate that. And shout out to Bond, too, for not firing Hake. I was able to do some stuff. Bedridden. I was listening to the show. I started meddling in other people's other departments here at Bond. I started looking at the website and all kinds of stuff. So I was able to do some stuff. I tried to make myself useful. Gimp. The gimp that I was. I'm back and better than ever now. Hake wants free insurance for all. No, I don't. This insurance stuff is a setup. With car insurance, anytime I got into a little accident, I learned that, which I rarely did, but I learned that you just pay the person to just give them a check. $500. Don't tell the insurance. Let's deal with it directly. Because you get into an accident, your insurance goes up, and you're paying all this money for nothing because you don't need it until you really do need it. But the health stuff and the liability stuff is, I guess, worth having. Because there's no cap on the amount you can spend on your body when you mess up your body or somebody else messes up your body. Anyway. Terrible. Is there anything else I wanted to say about that? But that was cool. That was like a small world. When you send a check to somebody or a PayPal.me type thing to somebody, you're supposed to give them a little note. Oh, hey, praying for you, get well soon, or congratulations on your baby, or whatever. Somebody's all, love the show, Hake. Oh, that's cool. Love both you and JLP. Isn't that nice? So, shout out to Samaritan Ministries. Samaritan, the Good Samaritan. The Samaritans were hated by the Jews back then during Jesus' time, and Jesus talked about a Samaritan taking care of this guy who got beat up on the road. Nice. Right on. Matt living the dream is having a field day. Bet those departments enjoyed that. He got to micromanage. Yeah, true. I started getting involved with the Fallen State stuff. I got involved with the website stuff. I got involved with JLP stuff more, and criticizing the social media stuff. Hate criticizing. Good for nothing but criticism. Terrible. But no, I thought it was good. Funny. Okay, so you guys heard about Steven Crowder? I heard a little bit about it on Nick's stream. Shout out to Nick's stream. Steven Crowder is a guy who interviewed JLP on his show. I don't know if it was ever released, but I think we were able to release it on the Jesse Lee Peterson's YouTube channel. He's this Canadian, I think, conservative guy, Christian, I believe. Gotten really popular. He's dressed up as a woman and gone into like Planet Fitness, that judgment-free gym that rings a lunk bell if you're too manly at their gym. If you throw the weights down, they ring the lunk bell and you can get in trouble or chided or criticized or something. They don't judge the transgenders. They made headlines for letting transgenders into the wrong locker rooms at this gym where you go and exercise, right? And it's supposed to be fat people friendly, that's nice. And so Steven Crowder went in there and pretended to be something, and then, I don't know, he might have gotten kicked out because it was a stunt and they were recording and who knows what. And he's done these change my mind things at college campuses. Racism isn't real, change my mind. Although he probably thinks racism is real. And then he's like, gun control, he's pro Second Amendment. Gun control is bad, change my mind. Stuff like that. Well, he was with the Blaze at one point, which is a top supposedly conservative outlet, once affiliated with Glenn Beck, who gave teddy bears and soccer balls to the unaccompanied alien children, along with Ted Cruz, Rhino, enabling and rewarding the supposedly little boys who would come across the border illegally under Obama, and pretended that racism is real. And Glenn Beck abandoned Cliven Bundy when Cliven Bundy was one of the Nevada ranchers with the militia opposing the BLM, the original BLM, Bureau of Land Management. And Glenn Beck was on his side, and then Cliven Bundy said something too manly, too white, too true, meaning racist. He said, I wonder if blacks were better off under slavery. They were happy, they were working, they had their families than they are today, because now they don't have families, they aren't working, they're not happy, they're angry, crying racism all the time. He's right about that. But Sean Hannity, whom I like, Glenn Beck, whom I like, abandoned that guy. They were on Cliven Bundy's side until that point, and then they turned on him. They got cold feet, got scared. Anyway, Steven Crowder was part of his thing, but I think his thing got taken over by Mark Levin, who is not Mormon like Glenn Beck. Mark Levin is more successful. He's Jewish, I think, a conservative Jewish guy under the Reagan administration. These are the big names of the conservatism. CRTV, I think, bought the Blaze. So Crowder was part of that, but then I heard like a week before Crowder left the Blaze, he bought this thing called StopBigCon.com, this website URL. I bought the Hake Report and the Hate Report. Similarly, while working for JLP, Hake bought the Hake Report. Talk about a traitor. No, I'm kidding. So he left the Blaze, and then he was talking with this outlet called Daily Wire, another big-name conservative outlet. Ben Shapiro. You guys heard of Ben Shapiro? He's this young Jewish man, a couple years younger than me. I'm older than him. Did you know that, I think? Based Ben Shapiro, who just clowned or put in his place that one-time Commie Nonsense Network host, Piers Morgan, who is going after the guns, British guy, meddling in America's affairs, standing on the graves of dead children, as based Ben Shapiro rightly said. And he argued with Alex Jones, this guy. He argued with... who's that guy whom I really like? CrimeResearch.org. Dr. John R. Lott Jr., this CNN guy, Piers Morgan, arguing with all these different guys. I think he argued with one of the guys from Gun Owners of America, maybe, and various pro-gun people. And he argued with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro got huge after that. Maybe he was huge before that, but huge after that. And I was so impressed with him. And then he eventually started Truth Revolt, and then that closed down, and he started Daily Wire. Daily Wire's gotten huge. They've put out movies. They got hosts. They have that woman who's got pregnant and had a baby, married this British man. She's black, Candace Owens. And then she went right back to work. She works with Daily Wire as a host. Well, they were talking with this guy, Steven Crowder. And Steven Crowder, all of a sudden, he turned all dramatic because he's an actor and he's emotional. And people say all kinds of crap about him. But pretty popular. Fancy Dancy show. I liked some of his co-hosts and him for a while. It was a pretty cool show. But then he got into this little argument with Daily Wire about a contract. And he's all, we need to stop, or else I'm going to stop. And he's all, don't make me out you. I'm not going to name names. Don't make me out you, and don't make me show receipts. And that's a black thing, right? Isn't that black? To say, oh, receipts. Isn't that a black term? I think that's a black term, receipts. I'm bringing Hassan into here.
I have heard black say it.
Do you think they started it?
I mean, probably, now that I think about it, because I think the first time I've heard it was the Isley Brothers. They have a song called Keep Your Receipt.
Oh, really? That's an oldie. Isn't that an oldie?
That is an
group?
oldie. That's probably the 70s.
Yeah. I want to say that blacks come up with the lingo that we eventually adopt.
Hard to argue.
Generally, they do. And so now these people, I try to resist it as much as I can, but I can't resist it. You cannot resist the black lingo that gets into the white vernacular. It's terrible.
It's too good.
Yeah, it is. They have style. They have style. And so by receipts, he means proof. I have proof. Steven Crowder going after Daily Wire. Daily Wire outed themselves, he said. I say it, Hake, so it probably is a black thing, says Lord Pibby 42. He was raised by blacks. I think he's white. Hake, are you involved with Daily Wire like Crowder? This is my appeal. I'm like, I'll take his place. I'll take that $50 million deal. No. But anyway, Steven Crowder started to talk about this. If you miss a show, you get fined $250,000 or something like that. But you're not really fined. It's just they're docking your pay. But his deal was like $50 million. So what's 250,000? 50 million. 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros after the 50. Divide by 250, 1, 2, 3 is 200. So you can do 200 of those, and then you'll break even to zero, I think. Right? So that's not so bad. You shouldn't miss 200 days. How many days did Hake miss? 90? I might have, well, it's not, I was out for 3 months. Pretty much solid. But that's 5 days a week that I was out. So that's not 90 days. I don't know. I was out. I should have been docked 250,000 a day. I wasn't doing Hake News. Nick, host of Nick's Stream, was doing Hake News for me. I wasn't doing my show. Joel Friday came in a couple of days. Big Bump came in one day. Man, terrible. That was fun, though. That was cool. I liked watching Joel Friday co-host with you and Nick, host of Nick's Stream, and guest host by himself. He was doing a good job. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember that day that me, him, and Nick had that deep
right
love conversation.
Right, about relationships. Yeah. Joel comes with the deep topics. I like co-hosting with him.
Yeah.
But I think Daily Wire would have worked with me, right? Maybe not as generously as JLP. JLP's pretty Jewish, though, with that money. No, he's a generous guy, too. when it's right, not when it's wrong. There's a wrong time to be generous. He's black. He's black and old school, and a businessman. So anyway, he didn't like their contract. I heard that he might have. I don't know. A lot of it is rumors, and who cares? But yeah, Steven Crowder said, "Oh, if you get censored by the big tech, like by YouTube, or you get demonetized by YouTube, they dock your pay a little bit because that's less money that's coming in." Which to me that makes sense. The Daily Wire people, they have it. That's a sensible policy. But Steven Crowder's, well, like, then change your business model. But that's not fair to say because he's the one getting hired by them. He can say that, but it's meaningless. But he did come up with his own business model, it turns out, I guess. As what I understand is he's starting his own network. But anyway, he had a very public, nasty mudslinging thing with these other conservatives. And to me, that's... And to, I think, most people that I've seen, it was ill-advised of Steven Crowder to be having this public fight with the people. But I noticed that everybody's judging Steven Crowder, the people who are against Steven Crowder, or the people who are on Daily Wire's side. And I'm on neither side, and I think most of you guys are not on neither side either. But I think Daily Wire they're like, what the heck? But I saw Candace Owens, that woman who's getting all... people puffing up, judging each other, and infighting. Losers infighting. Because the conservatives are losing right now. It kind of reminds me of what happens in the rap stuff. Tupac and Biggie hated each other for a while. All these different egos battling. Musicians have huge egos. Hosts, every human being has huge egos. The poor have huge egos. The poor are hung up on money just as much as the rich, if not more. And the middle. I don't like the word middle class. It sounds communist. But have you heard of any of this stuff going on, Hassan?
Not with Crowder specifically, but
Yeah.
So are you saying Daily Wire bought his show for $50 million?
They were offering to hire him for $50 million a year. I hear, yeah. I heard.
Wow.
But he wanted $120 million, but they said no, 50. That's what I heard.
A year.
And this is rumors. Like, I don't know. And so, but he did show like the contract and the, $250,000 if you miss, or if you get docked by YouTube, you're also losing money. And he pretended to be about the kids. Maybe he does care about the young up-and-comer conservative hosts. And you don't own your own content that you produce while working for them. They own your Twitter. But yeah, 50.
Well, for
I think
50 million, they should have.
50 million. Is it 50 million a year, or is it 50 million over 5 years, or whatever?
That
I don't know.
Sound
maybe
more.
Maybe that is.
Yeah, and maybe for the overall intellectual property of, like you just said, all of his.
They own your social media,
Yeah.
at least for that time.
Yeah.
But some of it is in perpetuity, which is forever. But the stuff that they helped pay to produce, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I do something for the JLP show, I design something, say, and then I try to take it with me after I leave. No, it's theirs. It's Bond's. It's the JLP show.
Classified document.
Right. And not even classified documents, but even just like creative stuff that I made it done.
Yeah.
To me, I think that's fine.
Well, that's like how,
That's how musicians have
yeah,
it.
that's how I was just gonna say
Record labels own your stuff.
My contract is contracts. Whenever you see the word perpetuity,
Yeah.
it's
You're
a danger zone.
right. Which some of it is kind of fair, maybe. Some of it may not be fair, but you don't know
agree.
enough to.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Because even these musicians who are like, oh, well, now I want to own my publishing bag, or like Prince, or these people who complained afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like, Yeah, but that's not really how it works, because when you had no money and you had no nothing,
You couldn't produce that stuff to that
and
level.
these people were essentially a partner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that when Uber becomes huge, the guy who invested at ground level says, "Oh, well, let me just not own it anymore
Right.
and give it to you." It's like, that's not how
Yeah.
it works.
Big Bump says that it was 4 years for $50 million, according to the story.
That sounds
That sounds more reasonable, huh?
it's more reasonable.
Yeah, because conservative business is big business, but it's not that big, is it?
I mean, 50 million, that's like Michael Jordan.
I know. A good point. And I know Steven Crowder, and I know Michael Jordan, and Steven Crowder is no Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
But it is big business, and it is just business, and it's. Have you heard of people coming out like this? And what do you think about people who will go against the company owner? I heard that. What's her name? The pretty girl who used to be, white girl who used to be the Aryan queen, Aryan princess, Aryan goddess.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah, Taylor Swift. You knew who I was talking about. That's funny. She used to be a country singer. And then she went after this Jewish guy, Scooter Downey? Not Scooter Downey. Scooter something. Because he owned her stuff. He owned all her stuff. Somehow. Or he bought it or something. And she was like bashing him.
Yeah, I mean, there is like the artist in me that sees some of these situations, and it's like, I think with Taylor's situation, I heard the label or whoever owned her masters was like, "Oh yeah, well,
Sold it out from under her without.
well, what they'll do is they'll say, hey, we'll give you back your, like, if your contract's about to end,
Yeah.
and artists are like, okay, I'm finally going to be out of this deal, I'm be free. The label will say, well, we'll give you back your, if you sign for another 3 albums, we'll give you back your first album,
Oh.
all of the masters.
Yeah.
And for a lot of artists, the first album is like usually,
Sometimes they're best.
yeah, and probably the most like
popular, most known.
sentimental, the
True.
most like they worked on it their whole life.
Yeah.
Up until that point.
Right.
So
And then the other stuff is just, they had to whip it out,
yeah, a lot of times.
throw away.
So
Sophomore slump.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll play on the heartstrings of like, oh, we'll give you back the first one if you sign for another 3.
Yeah.
And I've heard of these kinds of things. But again, it's kind of like with Prince. I mean, as much as
Prince, the artist, or Prince as
Yeah.
in, okay.
the artist, remember when he wrote "slave" on his face?
Oh, okay.
And
I thought you were talking about Prince of like a painting and you make a print of it.
oh yeah, no,
But anyway,
Prince,
Prince.
Purple Rain Prince.
Okay. Yeah.
He was one of the probably the most, you know, he kind of went on this whole campaign, wrote "slave" on his face.
Right.
Actually,
That's funny. Because he's black, huh?
And he actually became, he was already Jehovah's Witness, but
Oh.
he amped it up
Yeah.
because when the publishing company was like, we're not gonna, allegedly he went to the company and said, hey, look, I have $100 million, I want to buy my publishing back. And they said, no.
Because
And
they can make more money than that,
right.
I guess.
And it's the only kind of contracts that even after you do your years, they still have to sign off on releasing back the
Wow.
publishing and everything.
Yeah.
So, but he like really became like super Jehovah's Witness again and super Christian, and was like, okay, well, if I'm not going to be making all the money off of the music, I'm not performing any of these songs anymore,
Wow.
so that you guys don't make any money either.
Yeah.
And so for years when he was performing, people would go to his show and he wasn't doing like
His
the
classic
hits.
songs.
Yeah, and people were like ticked.
Man.
And but yeah, and he was like, yeah, it's because I'm Jehovah's Witness. But a lot of it had to do with him trying to
Get
play
control
with
back.
with the company.
A fight. Is it an ego fight or is it a on principle, or both? I think it's.
And that's the thing.
it's
I
ego.
think like just because like even in the Elvis movie, like there's a similar thing that happens with him and his manager.
Yeah.
And they show this.
Right.
And people are like, he shouldn't be owning 50% of Elvis until he dies. And it's like, yeah, but like I just said about Uber or Coca-Cola, if someone invests in the beginning and then when it's time to reap the benefits, they don't say, oh, well,
Right.
let's renegotiate to where I own less.
Yeah. True.
And maybe it is a moral thing, but
This is why people don't like. This is partly why people don't like the Jews, right? They get real criticized because the Jews are clever and businessmen-like and can maybe like pull a fast one on you or something like that. When you're young and dumb and full of ego, they play on that and then they say, sign this. Or any, like, used cars or any business.
yeah.
People call it, this is why people don't like capitalism too. Not everybody's honest in dealing with you and upfront about what this really means. And it's not like a buyer beware. But that's partly, you got to watch out for yourself. That's the way of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nobody's business to teach you business.
Yeah. Wow. I hear it all the time, though, about these artists and bands who hate get into antagonistic relationships with the company that hires them.
I'm in a bad publishing situation.
Right.
But it just all depends how
But
you
you
look at
still
it.
are benefiting a little bit, or no?
I mean,
Not as much as you would
only,
call fair.
only because like you said, most people see advance when a company comes to you or whoever, and they have a large advance lump sum.
Right.
You know, you think, wow, like
Dollar sign eyes.
let's do this. Why would I not do this?
Yeah.
And when you really see how much you could have made over this time span,
Right.
you kind of
But
look
you can
at
only really kick yourself.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, but let's say Prince, though. Let's say he had played those things. Everybody would have benefited. He would have benefited had he sung those songs. The company would have benefited, and the fans. At least on an ego level, because he's playing what the people like, and the people like his shows more. So he probably enjoys those songs. Or he's dead now. He doesn't enjoy them anymore. So those two would have benefited, and of course the company's going to make money off his music. So just give in.
Yeah.
Stop fighting. Kind of.
I agree.
Yeah.
It definitely starts to become more of an ego thing, I think.
More like counterproductive to everybody to start fighting about it.
Yeah, and
Kinda.
trying to like, you think you got me? Well, watch this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Interesting. And now the conservatives are doing this, and Crowder's pretending it's on principle, but I say we shouldn't be like judging or looking down on Crowder. I pictured what JLP says about people who do crazy things or evil things, mass shootings, or coming out and saying this or that. Satan told them to do this, and then one day Satan's going to step back and show you let you see what a fool you made of yourself. Because I feel like Steven Crowder kind of made a fool of himself, but there's enough people who are following him. So maybe he has people around him who are saying, yeah, you're doing the right thing. So he's continuing down this wrong road, kind of like Obama has people around him saying, oh, yeah, you're doing the right thing. But he's continuing down the road being praised into hell. I feel like that's what's going on, which is what happens with so much of what we do. Is like we're going down the wrong road, having this. What is that called when you're positive reinforcement? Positive reinforcement from the world around you, so you think it's from God, or you think you're on the right track. But just because everybody's praising you, and then some people are hating you, you can say, oh, the world is hating me because I'm doing what's right, but you're not. And you can say, oh, the people are praising me because I'm doing what's right, but they're not. It doesn't mean anything. What a mess.
That's true. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it starts to make you think you're justified for the
Right.
rebellious spirit.
And then the people judging Crowder, like, we're right that he's wrong, but we're wrong because we're like judging him as wrong, and then like I'll puff it up, and we don't like Crowder anyway. These guys, and these are a bunch of grifters grifting each other and pretending not to be grifters and accusing each other of being grifters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So his main issue was about the fine?
His main issue, I think, was actually about these big companies being in bed with big tech and cooperating with big tech so that they don't get demonetized and censored, because big tech is liberal, right? Big tech meaning YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. And he said, change your business model. And don't be trying to own everything, because that won't allow these young up-and-comer conservatives to be their own person and make it. You're gonna forever own these young up-and-comers, and you're holding them down. So he pretends like he's looking out for the kids, the young people, who are up-and-coming conservative voices. And I'm saying pretending like he is. He may really think that he is. I don't know. And then also in bed with big tech is the other thing. Yeah. And just the contracts is kind of slimy, maybe.
Well, then good for him. Yeah, he should by example.
Yeah,
just say,
that's
hey,
what he's saying. That's
I'm
what he
doing
says
my
that
own
he's
thing.
doing.
Yeah.
But he made a big show. He pulled a stunt, a publicity stunt, maybe, in order to publicize that he started his own thing.
Right, and
now he's alienated what should be his allies, his fellow big name, Daily Wire. It should be kind of a friendly competition, but now it came into an antagonistic competition, kind of, in my opinion.
yeah, like he didn't need to publicly try to expose or like.
Right.
He could have just privately. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny. Anyway, thank you, Hassan.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
that.
Thank you.
Let's get to a call or two, guys. Jeff in Louisiana wants to talk about this. Jeff, how are you doing?
Pretty good, man. How are you, Hake?
Doing fine, thank you.
Man, the thing with Crowder was, if you go back and you watch, he did after all this crap coming out of snow, him going back and forth, David Wire. He did a teamcast, yesterday or night before, that explained a lot of it.
He did a what?
He was on a teamcast.
Oh, Timcast. Tim Pool is another. Well, he's a liberal.
Yeah, he did teamcast. It was teamcast because David Wire tried to sign teamcast.
Oh, okay.
But he would go into detail, but he refused the contract offer.
Okay.
Because what it was is they're trying to censor what he says, and he had a model that showed they can make money.
Okay.
Without the censoring.
But he hasn't made Daily Wire type of money. Daily Wire type money is like big time, and Crowder's pretty big, but he's like a one-man band type of thing. He's not a whole network.
It's not a one-man man, though. It's not a one-man man. The $50 million is he has to cover production costs. Like, if he wants to go somewhere and film something, do it like Matt Walsh did, Was a Woman Win All the World.
What is a woman?
$50 million, he has to pay for the production costs, the travel, and everything else.
Yeah.
And he has 25 to 35 employees that he has to pay salary and health care and all that stuff.
Okay.
So that comes out to $50 million.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
And then they can dock him. It's like $250,000 for not missing show. So basically, he said if he gets in a car wreck and misses a day of work, he goes $100,000 according to the way the contract's wrote out.
Well, maybe they'll be reasonable. But anyway, but that's why you don't get in a car accident. Oftentimes, accidents are your own fault. Like my health thing, it's kind of my own fault, honestly. I say kind of. It really was my own fault.
But then the thing was, he said, well, he didn't say, but they bumped the offer up to $100 million. So it's not really about the money. It's a thing like people trying to get started and create stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's like the call he recorded with Jeremy, what's his name? He pretty much said, any content creator is a wage slave till they get the brand made.
Right, but that's just describing reality. Is that a bad thing to say, to admit the truth? We're all wage slaves.
Well, y'all are. I'm not no more, but
you're not a wage slave. You don't work?
I don't have to work. I got retired. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but most of us are wage slaves. Like, so what?
Yeah, we are, but I mean, man,
it's to me that's I don't think of the Daily Wire people as scumbags for saying that you have to be a wage slave for a while. That's just the truth.
I don't think I'm a scumbag, but I just
yeah.
I think more. I tell you what really got me on it is Crowder went on now. You know they can say it's crap. He recorded a phone call and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, because he recorded a phone call with the guy Jeremy Boring of Daily Wire.
Yeah, he recorded a phone call
secretly.
I can say that was kind of shady, but
okay.
The thing that really got me on is as soon as Stephen Crowder came out and said something, Candace Owens went on there and called him a little bitch.
Oh hey, this is the Hake report.
Yeah, Candace Owens said.
Right, I know that she said that. Yeah, she called it a B. She called it a B-word move or something like that.
Yeah, but man,
do you think that was all aside from the fact that it was said in a spirit of nastiness, maybe was that factually false? Was that false?
To me, it was. I mean, he you know.
Let's say it is because that's almost a matter of opinion. Is it an unfair opinion to have?
It is a matter of opinion, but I'll tell you my opinion. That's why I said it's opinion, so that's interpretation.
Right.
But Daily Wire is a big corporation. Has a whole team of lawyers working on their stuff. Stephen Crowder, as you said, is a one-man band.
Right.
So you got, it's CYA, cover your...
Right, cover your back, cover your rear.
Yeah, cover your rear. But, man, it's just, it's like.
Yeah, that's so that's why I kind of understand. Say again?
If somebody wants to attack you, I said somebody wants to attack you in JLP. You got to do stuff to cover your rear. I mean, it's your income. That's your way of life. But man, I ain't gonna hold you up, man. I put
so you're on Crowder's side on this?
Yeah, man, I'm on Crowder's side. I like Crowder. He's I just like him because he did that segment, Change Your Mind, stuff like that. Man,
yeah,
he is pretty respectful when he does that stuff. I mean, I've watched about every episode of it. I like Change Your Mind, but
yeah,
he's respectful, but it's just
I find him respectful in general, and I find the Daily Wire guys respectful.
I do too, but I mean, if I had to pick
I think that although I don't really appreciate the attitude of Candace, but I think that she was correct when she called it a B-word move, because it felt like a stunt when he did it. It felt like a stunt. It felt like he had it felt like he might have had no intention. I wonder whether he had any real intention of working with Daily Wire, or if he really the whole time wanted to do this Stop Big Con, his own network type thing.
Well, the Big Con thing, that's one thing to correct on. He didn't start Big Con when he quit the Blaze. He started Big Con like a couple weeks after the contract. But
I'll tell you what. Did you know that he bought that website domain before he ever even left the Blaze? A week before he left, according to somebody on Twitter, which is a reliable source.
It wasn't the Blaze. It was Daily Wire. We really left.
No, he was never with the Daily Wire. He was with the Blaze first.
But I will admit, he did leave the way he left. It was the way he left was to get more subscribers, his point of view. But the last thing I say, and I'll let you go. If I had to rank the people of Daily Wire and the way I watch all the content, it would be Stephen Crowder number 1, Matt Walsh number 2, Ben Shapiro's number 3.
He's naming all my competitors. Where does Hake fall in that mix?
Man, I put JLP at 1 and 2. I mean, be honest.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Well, man, I just there's things I disagree with y'all on. There's things I see on y'all, but.
Yeah.
But y'all ain't, when I watch your show, I watch the JLP show, I'm listening to, y'all be talking about something, stop right in the middle of it, and it's like, sleep pills, number 1 pill,
Oh, yeah.
Stop listening to advertisements.
Yeah.
That pisses me off more than anything. It's just I watch something, then stop right, they be talking about something, like y'all getting to talk about something, then you got to stop at advertisements.
Right.
You lost me there.
I always hated commercials.
Yeah, man. Well, man, you have a good day, man.
Thank you, Jeff. Take care, man.
There we go.
All right. Jeff in Louisiana. What about Nick's stream? Where's Nick? AJ. What about AJ? Alex Jones, my competitor. Man, we're talking about my competitors. Rick in Maine is on the line. Rick, how you doing?
Oh, not doing too bad, James. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I listened to quite a lot of that.
That drama?
Yeah, with Steve and everybody.
So you knew about this mess, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I did. You know.
And was it interesting the nasty spirits could you sense the nasty spirits flying?
Yeah.
That's my main point about it.
I think there was a lot of misunderstanding there, and there still is.
And I think that misunderstanding comes from when I've had misunderstandings in different friendships and relationships, it's only a problem because of anger and assumption. Right. People getting into their imagination and assuming different things.
Right.
Yeah.
What I got from Steve when I was listening to him is that, you know, he wanted to be involved with a company that would not penalize a content producer for being on that platform. In other words, if he made a mistake, he got a strike or whatever the case may be. He didn't feel that it was right for them to keep as much money as as they were talking about keeping. It's quite a lot of money. You sit down and you really think about it. And he didn't want to see any of these big tech platforms keeping that kind of money from new up-and-coming creators. If they got involved with it, you know, they made a mistake. Yeah, they made a mistake. But being chastised for that kind of money is not what he wanted to be involved in. And that's why he got out of Blaze and had this falling out with Daily Wire and something like that. I mean, if I was a businessman in his shoes and somebody was taken, well, if you add it all together and you got all three things, a strike and everything else, keeping a third of your earnings, then that's not right, because he has a very lucrative business there. He does well, and someone that is taking advantage of that by the way that they are, I don't believe it either. You know, I wouldn't get involved in that kind of a mess myself. So, you know, somebody that is willing to punish somebody for being on their platform for, you know, minor infractions, as far as I'm concerned.
But
I've gotten a strike on my YouTube channel.
But
I didn't get plowed, you know, for that kind of money.
But that just means.
But I'm just a.
But he's making money, and so then if he gets a strike, it's kind of his fault, because he knows how YouTube kind of is. So he knows to play it safe, and so if he goes a little bit outside the lines, and you never really know when YouTube's going to bash you.
No,
but that's kind of
honestly.
But that just means there's less money coming in, so they have to dock you. To me, it sort of makes sense.
Not that much. James.
But they're also
that's ridiculous.
But then you just don't sign the contract or whatever, or renegotiate or something.
That's why he didn't.
I know, but he went all public, acting like he's this righteous person.
Well, he wanted to state his case as it was.
But he didn't need to state his case, because it wasn't anybody's business, in my opinion.
that may be true, but that was up to him to make that decision to go ahead and put that information out there.
Yeah, I think it was. I still think it was
his decision.
But it was his decision, but it's ill-advised.
Well,
in my opinion, he didn't make himself look good to me.
No. I mean, there's going to be situations like that anytime you bring that kind of stuff out into the general public. Anyway.
Right. To me, that's
you've got to stop and think what you're doing first.
Yeah.
As the old saying goes, engage your brain before you engage your mouth.
Right. There are people out there saying that it's a bad contract, and they don't use the word bad. They use a different word.
It was.
And I'm not questioning that, but the principle of you getting docked for getting demonetized on YouTube, that's an understandable principle to me.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Like I said, he's got to stop and think before he puts out this kind of information on the public airwaves.
Yeah. To me, it's unnecessary infighting and phony self-righteousness. It's a bunch of pretense on his part.
Yeah.
Looked like to me.
I do admire him. For one thing, though.
What's that?
He was trying to set a standard for new upcoming creators to have an equal chance, a good chance to make a living.
Do you believe that, though?
And advance, yeah. I do. Otherwise, young creators are not going to know anything about this.
But to be honest, to me, it seems like he's playing mama for those creators.
Well,
because
so be it.
Because young men should be able to have sense enough to look after themselves.
They should be able to.
Yeah.
They should. That's a word right there.
Yep.
But they're not being taught that these days.
Yeah, but the solution to me isn't Steven Crowder playing mama and pointing fingers at Daily Wire. To me, I don't think so. And they're not the only ones, he admitted.
No,
so I don't
know. No, I do like Steve. I'm gonna continue watching his content.
Yeah, no, I don't think people should. I don't think people should abandon either one of those guys.
No,
it's just a business disagreement. No. Some people are saying that it is a really messed up contract, but to me, the reaction was messed up.
Bad.
I think his reaction was every bit as messed up and damaging and destructive.
Yeah.
Maybe more so.
Yeah. Well, that could be too.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. You take care of yourself. Thanks
All right.
for the time.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Take care.
We'll be talking to you.
All right,
okay,
Rick.
James.
Nice. Anyway, taking care of business is in the chat saying that saying it was unfair. In short, they tried to. I can't say that term, but anyway, you guys caught the drift. That's funny. Some people are saying 75% of the conservatives are on Crowder's side. I did not know that. I didn't know that anybody was on Crowder's side, but a lot of you guys are. I'm not really on a side. Taking care of business says, as much as I don't like Crowder, I certainly believe he wants those usury contracts out of existence at some level. And maybe so. Big Bump says, I agree with Crowder, but he 100% overreacted. And yeah, that's true. That's the other thing is, Nick says, I like the fight. Yeah, we like drama. We young whippersnappers like drama. 90% of why he was mad was because that contract was Daily Wire spitting in his face. Maybe, yeah. But that's why I guess you shouldn't be quick to judge, because the temptation is, for me and for a lot of people that I saw, were to judge Crowder and to be like, yeah, I don't care about Daily Wire or Crowder, but judge Crowder because he was like it was like poser-ish. But if you're judging him, then you're going to miss the fact that he has some validity in what he's saying. Even if he's doing it completely wrong. Interesting. Huh. Well, interesting to me anyway. I don't know. We're at the top of the hour, guys. Let's play some music. I wonder if David Meece got a bad contract. David Meece, this is... I like his music. This is from the 1987, I think, album Candle in the Rain. Amor. Conquista Todo. Or Conquista Todo? I don't know. Love conquers all. It's in Spanish and English. It's Spanglish. Enjoy, press mute, grin and bear it, or cover your ears, you musical Philistines. I'll come back and talk you through some of it. And I'll be right back for the rest of hour 2. David Meece. So good. Nice. Very cool. Shout out to David Meece. World music. Wow. Definitely globe earth music, says Nugget Man. Yeah, world music. David Meece stinks. Whatever, wrinkle hands bing bong, you stink. I feel bad saying that. I can't say that to you. Play, I don't know if I can say that out loud. I'm not sure if I should say that. Skunky X and GG. 80s aerobic music. Sign language over this. Love conquers all. Love your conquerors, says Tim Scott. The real Tim Scott, not to be confused with the rhino senator from Carolina, I guess. What a mess. Well, thank you guys for bearing with me through that feel-good music. David Meece. It's Christian, guys. Christian music. I got to read some super chats. At least one have come in. And there was one from yesterday that I did not get to. I am remiss. Super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. Oh, conspiracy analyst has a follow-up on yesterday's thing about Biden documents and Trump documents, and now there's Pence documents. Trump's security clearance was approved. Biden's wasn't. Trump can declassify. Biden can't, says conspiracy analyst. Legality won't matter, though, to the media. Many people believe Biden isn't running things. Yeah, many people do. I feel he's a puppet. It's really the Obama administration all over again. Between the timing and the shenanigans, cackling Kamala, could remain in office for 10 years. Cackling Kamala Harris. And nobody likes her. You think she would get elected? Newsom VP, 8 years, then president, 8? Oh my gosh, conspiracy analysts, don't get ahead of yourself. Oh, makes my head hurt just to think about that. Beta Governor Gavin Newsom. Do you think he would pull the numbers? I mean, I get that there are shenanigans. Oh yeah, he mentioned shenanigans. Whew. With regard to elections. Thank you, conspiracy analyst. Terrible. Fill my heart with dread. The future doesn't exist. How about that? Let's live in the present. But whew, they may be scheming in different ways that we cannot predict. And, you know, they can't even really predict what may happen. But I appreciate that, conspiracy analyst. That is a good point. They don't care about what's legal or not. It's all a big show. Classified documents. Dumb. Lin Yen Chin with the super chat says, would you play my silly video as a super chat? Such a Dr. Seuss vibe in my verbs. Oh, he blat. Thank you, Lin Yen Chin. I shall check it out. And if I deem it playable on the Hake Report, because I have such high standards, I may just do it. Thank you for the request, though. Appreciate that. And for the support. Thanks, man. Animus with another generous super chat, like Lin Yen Chin's. My favorite conservative show is the Hake Report and the JLP show. And last but not least, Nick Stream. Whoa, what do you mean last? And Joel, he black, he cool. He black, he cool. Nice, thank you, Animus. Lin Yen Chin gives an important distinction that JLP has recently also stated, almost said echoed. People are not creators. Don't use the woman noise of worship people via the lie of a phrase, of the phrase creators. They're called competitors. None but God can create, says Lin Yen Chen, and he's been saying this. And JLP has said it too, even recently. Rick, oh, he says Rick from Maine. I can't read this out loud, Lin Yin Chin. That's mean. Okay, I'm going to read it because Hake is a shock jock. Oh, this hurts my heart to say this out loud. That's mean. I don't even believe it is true. Lin Yin Chin says, Rick is just senile. Whoa. You're being ageist. Is there such thing as ageism? You're discriminating against your elders. I love boomers on the Hake report. But anyway, rather than realizing his language use as intellectual, aka trash. Yeah, he didn't mean creators like God creates. He was just using the word because Crowder and all these other people use the word creators. YouTube started it, I think. Google has us saying creators because YouTube has this thing called YouTube creators. And we're not creators. You know how people are can be sort of creative or imaginative? Imaginative, creative, interesting, huh? They're used interchangeably, sort of. God creates, white men invent. I wonder if that person, ugly people love masks. I wonder if that person is the guy that I've banned all the time. What shock jock always disavows. Yeah, I know. For the sake of my channel and for the sake of the parents who allow their children to watch the Hake report or to overhear the Hake report. Shout out to those parents. Nice. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Geronimo said, James, or Hake, you still believe the Jews are clever? Yeah, I do. They are lazy, don't build on their own, but deceiving people who build into their usury con game. Usury was always and is unchristian, but even the Christians today think it is just fine. Now, are you defining usury as lending with interest at all? Because lending and then they pay back with interest. Is that all forms of interest? Is that usury? Or is it exorbitant interest? And then exorbitant turns it into a gray term, meaning hard to understand. Because exorbitant interest, say I loan you $10 and I charge you interest of $1 a day. Is that exorbitant interest? That would be usury. But if I charge you 5 cents a day, that's not enough for me. But anyway, maybe that's not so exorbitant. Is that still usury? I'm just wondering. Thank you, Geronimo. Appreciate that. Don't you have to be kind of clever? Isn't Satan called clever? Is the Bible called Satan clever, or is that just Christians, intellectual Christians? Because I find deception and evil to be very clever. There's like no end to the deception. Intellectuals rationalize evil as fine. There was a book called Making Gay Okay, which was by this Catholic guy who says that it's not okay, but they've rationalized evil to be good. Intellectuals rationalized evil as good. It was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. The author of that book, Making Gay Okay, was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and I remembered that principle. I held on to it. Maybe I should let that go. Taking advantage of people is wrong. Hake ain't no shock jock. He too nice. Darn. If Hake's gonna shill for the Jays, I'm outie, says Mina. Yes, all charged interest is usury. Okay. Interesting. The Bible says, "Oh no, man." I don't know. But thank you guys. Appreciate that. I don't even think I mentioned that I was doing super chats. Oh, I just clicked the wrong thing. Okay. Here's a nasty woman. I like to talk more about like the spirit of things rather than what I consider to be like minor details or stuff like that. JoJoFromJerz is a Twitter big-time liberal. I think she has a blue check mark now, but she wouldn't have been a blue check back in the good old days. Is it the good old days pre-Elon Musk Twitter? Is that the good old days? Maybe not. I shouldn't call it that. I disavow. JoJoFromJerz tweeted out this nasty thing, and she always does. She's a blue check. No, she's a liberal on Twitter, reminiscent of that guy who I also reference. Oh, there she is. Kind of mildly attractive. Maybe even more than mildly attractive. But her spirit is evil. Oh, she's a mom. A mother. Mom. Jersey. Dem. Meaning Democrat. News junkie. Oh, she's Lebanese. She's Lebanese? A lot of Lebanese are kind of white, I've noticed. I think I debated a Lebanese guy. The communist. Red. I'm blanking on his name. I debated a communist, though. And I think he was Lebanese. Hothead. Geek. Blocked by... What? Somebody. Blocked by Chachi. Whatever that is. Sorry, kids. She's on TikTok. Anyway, she... Oh, and her pinned tweet from June of last year tweeted, maybe someday women in America will have as many rights as guns do. That's my fake laugh, if you couldn't pick up on that. Was that annoying? Was that obnoxious? She might be less attractive than I'm thinking, because she looks at least mild. Well, anyway. You know how the clever thing that I told you guys about, the secret? You hold your camera above your head, and it accentuates your jawline and makes you look less fat, and it makes you look good. It's for the ladies. Guys shouldn't do it, because it's just not manly. But anyway, it looks like she's holding her camera when she took this selfie, this camera of herself, picture of herself, above her head. And that's a trick. It's a trick. It's kind of like wearing makeup. It's a trick. Anyway. This woman shouldn't be worrying her pretty little head about politics. This woman is evil. Evil. Says Lord Bibby, 42. I agree. That's dumb. It's a dumb point about, women will have as much rights as guns. Guns don't even have any rights. And we don't even have rights to our guns. Barely. Really, in America. Even though we have the Second Amendment on paper. It's imaginary. She even has a Patreon. What in the world? She write for Financial Times? Is that ft.com? Oh, no. Never mind. Ko-Fi. So that's dumb. And that's the whole pretense is, killing the babies. And she's a mother. Poor kids. Poor children. Why is she in America? She's Lebanese. She's followed by that other guy, Ron Flipkowski, whose tweets I like to reference. And Fred Gutenberg is, I think, it was Fred Gutenberg, the guy who's the father of a dead child. And he's like using the dead child to push his phony liberal politics against guns, against gun rights. I think he is. There's been many parents in these liberal towns whose children get shot up like ducks in a barrel by other liberal people's children. And the liberal parents get on this mission, or the kids who survive the shooting themselves and grow up to be adults. Dumb liberal. Is it wrong for me to keep on saying dumb liberal? I have no other words for it. Hake's vocabulary is very limited. I bet she wouldn't be talking crazy like this in Lebanon. Send her back. Had we been allowed to have the guns everywhere, and have not liberal women voting and female-minded liberal males voting so much, we would not be having these things because we would be a more sensible country. But I guess we tend towards evil in America and in Israel. Old Israel was the same way. Would forget God and just go down in the tubes. Anyway, she tweeted this thing. I can't wait until the Democrats take back the House because this spoop is exhausting. And she got all these likes. Not very ladylike. It's not a strong point anymore to call somebody not very ladylike, is it? Fish live in a barrel, Hake. Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's the correct term, calling it ducks in a barrel. I think of rubber duckies, but I could be wrong. But she shouldn't even be worried about this. But now she's like a Twitter influencer. So dumb. Oh, and look at the simps who are... Simp is a word for, like, kissing up to her. Who are, like, replying to her in her replies. Democracy up. With a communist fist using a American flag, I gather, is what the emoji is. We feel your pain, Jerz. Meaning Jersey. Jersey JoJo. I know, like, 2 people who are decent from New Jersey. That's it. No, I know more than that. My grandma was from New Jersey. We feel your pain, Jerz. Take a deep breath. Yeah, that's the one good advice. And join the next 2-year roller coaster ride, blah, 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 blah. I don't care about your tweet. Somebody said, have you tried taking a break, maybe selling some imaginary MacBooks? I don't know what that's a reference of. I think she might have gotten banned on Twitter, based Elon Musk's Twitter. Anyway, that's enough of that. I don't care about this woman. Ridiculous. Let's talk to we need some alpha energy back in here. Let me talk to Art in Ohio on the line. Art, how you doing, man?
Hey, Amor, how you doing?
Doing fine, thank you.
Oh, man, I don't know if you know my girl is in the chat or whatnot. She's been in the chat for a while or whatnot.
Cortez?
I will be... No. No, Cortez. I'll just be... Hey, come on, man. You trying to expose me and get me kicked out of my own house, man. I'm trying to get some steak for me and you and Lord Bibby and Nick or whatnot. She gonna cook us some steaks with some potatoes and some vegetables and whatnot. And she know how to cook now and whatnot. But I just want to let her know that me and AOC, we just be covering, only have eyes for her and whatnot. You ain't know my girl be in the chat?
Which girl?
Sion.
Oh.
Ooh. Allegedly.
She's Nick Stream's stewardess, I gather. I've heard.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, so she was... Oh, that's where she be at. I didn't know that's where I thought she said she was going to the gym. I didn't know that.
Yep. No, she's lying.
Yeah, tell her have me and Lord Bibby and Hake and Nick some art wires was lined up, have them nice and cold out the freezer. First thing first is, and shout out to that great chat up in there and whatnot. We love this chat room over here in Hake. And then the first thing first is, remember, Hake, I said when that teacher that got shot in Newport News by that 6-year-old, the one white teacher that was trying to break the glass ceiling and be the first diverse white lady, liberal white lady to get shot. These females are sure is being the first to do a lot of stuff out here in 2023.
Yeah, what a
Remember
mess.
I said, yeah. Remember I told you, I said, hey, Hank, I bet she's a liberal, huh? You remember me saying that?
Yeah, I do remember you saying that.
Well, Lord behold, Artie R is like the Robin Hood of Columbus, Ohio. He strikes once again dead on the bullseye from 3.5 miles away. The word is on the news, they saying that this lady is trying to sue the school district because they already had been warning the school about this same child or whatnot.
Oh.
Now, what type of liberal, libtard stuff is that you already Been warning them about that, but you keep going to this same school around allegedly a dangerous 6-year-old or any other dangerous kindergartners or whatnot. I guess we got terrorist kindergartners out here in 2023, I guess, with a liberal.
Yeah.
Second thing is, let me look at my Alpha Intel report. I got a name for you or whatnot. Okay. We looking, it says, you might have to help me with this name too. Bill the Blowjob Yo. The
Bill de
Blowjob Yo.
No, man.
Huh?
Bill de Blasio. Bill de Blasio?
Oh, is that what it say? Bill de Blasio. Okay. You know
Warren Wilhelm Jr. is, I think, his real name, according to Big Bump, which I think he's always right.
Oh, okay. You know, I used to be a liberal, not a Democratic liberal. You know, I have a little hard time with my reading. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
So,
I accept. Sorry, kids.
Yeah. He should be ashamed. What type of name is that, man? Well, anyways, long story short, yeah, I was right. I thought it was another Democrat or another politician that had their kid that was participating in this terrorist Antifa act stuff. I knew I wasn't tripping, hey.
Oh, Bill de Blasio's kid is involved in that stuff? I think I heard that before.
Yeah, I think you showed it on your show. I knew I wasn't tripping.
Yeah, that daughter of his who accused him of being a white privileged, I think.
Yeah.
Bill de Blasio. He's not a normal white.
Yeah. And then a couple more of them Antifa people came to find out. One of them is an artist for, like, allegedly, I think they said, now I don't want to, allegedly, I think it was Coca-Cola, a graphic designer for Coca-Cola, rich dude.
Yeah.
One of the other white people come from, a couple of them come from rich white families. So a lot of these people are well-off people, and that's mighty awfully funny that they have enough time and energy and money and being funded by, we know it's they being funded by other people. It ain't just that they using their money. It's other people that's over top of them, higher up, that have way more money than them that's funding them, and a lot of these other homeless people that's participating in this Antifa stuff. But I find that awfully funny that you have a lot of these liberal, rich white people going out here acting like they standing up for black people when we know that they ain't doing nothing but pandering and
self-righteous, pretending like they're all, like they love the blacks. They don't love anybody.
They don't love anybody.
Are you referencing what's going on down in Atlanta? Is that still happening?
Yeah, I heard.
I haven't kept up with the news. If it's not on CNN, if it's not on CNN's morning updates, I don't know about it. Pretty much.
Sir,
except that's why I barely heard about Crowder. No, I'm kidding. But terrible, huh? They're pretending. Mm-hmm. And I heard on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, is it true that the Tortuguita shot a cop?
Who is that?
He's the guy who got shot and killed that they were rioting over. They're rioting for him.
Wow. Which sounds just like
I don't know if he did.
Member.
I thought I heard it on the JLP show, or I might have missed. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, did you see the picture of the lady, the one Antifa member that got caught or whatnot? Which mom is a Democrat or whatnot? The picture of him getting arrested, he got his head down, like trying to look all demon possessed. Like, hey, dude, you need to go. Ain't nobody intimidated by you, man. That was something that your mom told you when you was a kid or whatnot. As a grown man, a man to a boy, man, you wouldn't survive nowhere in Columbus, Ohio, impersonating, doing that little kitty little look you doing. Ain't nobody intimidated with that little look, man. First of all, if somebody truth be told, if you can tell that somebody got evil intent or whatnot, only thing you got to do is look in their eyes and their soul, and they'll tell you everything you need to know about them. You don't got to frown your face up to look evil. So, dude, you just trying way too hard, and you need to give up and don't quit your day job. Go get a job and get off the boo-boo. Get off the boo-boo, baby.
Who is this? Yep. Who tried to use a tough face? Who is it?
The female Democrat whose son just got caught down in Atlanta just recently. Her son is with Antifa, but she's a Democratic politician.
I'll have to look out for that. It sounds funny.
Look at that picture. Y'all better stay up out of these black neighborhoods trying to tear up these black neighborhoods, because I can almost for sure guarantee that the black people and the ones that's like me, we is not standing for it. You ain't going to be coming to our neighborhoods, tearing our neighborhoods up and going back to your nice neighborhoods and living all comfortably and stuff. So, yeah, y'all going to have to chill that out and go get a day job, man. Shout out to my boo-boo, Sion. I'll be home later when I catch you later, hey.
Art, just to clarify, which one did the ugly face? The female Democrat or the son?
The female Democrat, her son did it.
Her son did it. Her son did an ugly face, pretending to be all tough.
Yeah, looking like a. I would call him a nerd or computer geek, but it ain't even nothing wrong with even being that. Just looking like a kid to sit around and watch Pornhub all day.
Terrible.
And, plays on games, so he just a little weirdo, man. He need to get a girlfriend and get a life or something, man.
Hey,
God bless you. I'll catch you later.
Art, before you go,
what?
Hake loves drama or doesn't like drama.
What?
I'm not sure. There's a Israelite on the line who wants to ask you a question. Do you want to talk to this person?
Go ahead. That's cool. Run it.
All right. John in Kentucky. Long time no hear. Happy New Year, John in Kentucky. You're on with Art and Hake.
I didn't think you'd take my call, man.
I know. I didn't think so either, but I'm like, I spent half the show talking about Crowder, so I might as well bring on an Israelite.
Yeah, it ain't gonna take long, man. I'm just always curious since Art is an Israelite, claims to be an Israelite, right?
Tribe of Judah.
Tribe of Judah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I want to ask him, who does he think the Edomites are today? Are you on there?
Truth be told, that's a good question or whatnot. I used to probably think that they might have been white or whatnot, but I don't even think that now or whatnot. I'm still trying to figure it out or whatnot. Father God ain't our Father God hasn't revealed it yet to me, but I wonder if anything that I would speculate, I would think it's the liberals. I think it ain't no color. It's the liberals.
No.
It's how they. It's
a bloodline now. It's a bloodline, Art, and it's everybody but God's chosen. That's who it is. Everybody but God's chosen.
So Edomite is like your word for like Goyim or Gentiles.
For you.
Gentiles, right?
For you.
Okay.
So white, Japanese, Chinese, all y'all.
We're all Edomites. Wow.
Yeah.
But Art isn't on board with that because
I know
our Father God has not revealed that to him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
interesting.
Hey, you're funny, man. Our Father God.
He said it.
Oh, man. Hey, but I'm glad I got an answer, man, because I think I've been wondering that for months.
Okay.
Probably years,
Yeah.
But Art, look into it, man, and then look into your heart, and then find out who the Edomites are, man, and then realize what capacity they're going to have in the kingdom of heaven.
I definitely will do that, but I ain't going to look into my heart. I'm going to use my brain or whatnot and let God come to me.
Your brain connected to your heart.
Well,
your brain connected to your heart.
But he mentions that he'll let God reveal it.
Yeah. Let him reveal it. Let him reveal it.
Yeah. I just say when I say I don't put my heart into it or whatnot, I feel like that's the feminist female mindset, the feelings or whatnot, emotional. Oh,
good point.
Let's get up and shout and you're being mean and we want to protect you. You can't say this or we. That's what I feel when I say I'm not gonna put my heart in. I'm gonna use my brain or what.
Right.
Let God come to me and reveal it. Hey, will you stay blessed to Kentucky, John? Or
same to you, brother. Same
yes,
to
sir.
you.
And Hake, I'll catch you later, brother. And God bless you. And we still rolling with Trump. I'll catch y'all fellas later. Shout out to the chat.
All right, Art. Appreciate you, man. Take care. Thanks,
I'm
John.
Gone too, man.
That's interesting, man.
I'm gone too.
All right, take care. Adios.
All right.
Bye. Art in Ohio and John in Kentucky. Kentucky John. I like that. I like that line. Kentucky John. It's a nice Israelite name. Shout out to Kentucky. Kentucky, I hear, is where some nasty people are. I guess nasty people are everywhere, including JoJo from Jersey. Ridiculous. Oh, speaking of JoJo from Jersey, I got a clarification on Chachi. Chachi was Scott Baio. Scott Baio? Baio. B-A-I-O. He's a conservative guy. He was an actor. Was he Charles in Charge? I think he was Charles in Charge. And somehow he was also called Chachi. She hates him because he's conservative. Okay. Yeah, silly people sometimes brag that they're blocked by such and such person. Oh, Happy Days. He was from Scott Baio. Yo. Happy Days. Oh, Hassan doesn't know. Charles in Charge. You guys remember Charles in Charge? Wow, Scott Baio is 62 years old. And he's married. He's married to Renee Sloan, born married in 2007. One child, Bailey. The boys are out tonight, Republican Party. He's 5'10". Charles in Charge. Joni Loves Chachi was also a show. Oh, okay. Pre-Charles in Charge. Oh, he was in Happy Days. You were right. Dang. Hassan does know. He put, I didn't know. But he does know. Well, thank you, Big Bump. And Big Bump might be Gen X. I'm not sure. I think he might be. And I remember Charles in Charge. Oh. Sorry, guys. Not sorry, but forgive me. This is obnoxious. I'm going to drag this screenshot into the folder, this image 2916 into the folder. I'm not even going to crop it. Yeah, he was Chachi in Happy Days. Oh, I did not know that. Huh. JoJoFromJerz, probably Gen X too. Some Gen Xers are more sensible than others. Okay. Let's see if I can put this in the correct folder. I just dragged it into the folder. The photograph of this guy. Oh, he's doing the Instagram selfie thing. Let me not squeak. I'm becoming kind of like a squealy-voiced. I'm just becoming like squealy-voiced. Our friend, squealy-voiced Steven Crowder, squealy-voiced Hake. Okay. This is a direct tip with the 1-2 punch of Artie Art from Ohio and Big Bump sent me this screenshot from his phone. New York Post shows this guy who looks like he wants to be Luke Skywalker. Looks all small. Jared Riley Dowell, child of Democrat House Minority Whip Catherine M. Clark, has a different last name from her son. The child was arrested for assaulting police as part of an Antifa event in Boston last night. Jared Riley Dowell, Riley is in quotes for some reason. Maybe that's his alias. Graffitied "Stop Cop City" and assaulted police while resisting arrest. And look at his face. It looks like he's holding the camera like way up above his head to make his face look skinny. His face already partly skinny enough. Does he have those eye socket? Does he have like the bridge of his nose pierced or something like that? It almost looks like he has the bridge of his nose pierced. I could be wrong. But he's looking up all of it. This is what Artie Art from Ohio was mocking, how he's like looking like he's all tough or trying to look cool or something. He looks like he's The Cure. Did The Cure ever took this picture like that? Robert Smith? Did he ever take a picture like, I don't know, somebody took, the 80s people used to take pictures like this, looking up. Is he wearing eyeshadow? Ramones. Who thinks he's the Ramones? You want to comment on this? Hassan knows better pop culture than Hake a little bit.
I mean, I love Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, me too. Even though he's fat now and he's a liberal. Did you know that? He's fat and he's a liberal.
Really?
Yeah. I saw in the most recent shows that he's kind of fat. And he's a liberal. He hates Trump.
No way.
Yeah, those so-called rebels, they're not the Southern rebels. They're the dumb people. Anyway.
Who was the original Luke Skywalker?
I'm blanking on his name. He was also the Joker voice. He portrayed Joker in Batman the Animated Series.
Really?
Mark Hamill. Yeah, and did you see the most recent movies where like there's a girl who's a cool Jedi? I like her.
Oh yeah, my mom really likes the one where she's the Jedi.
Yeah, and then there's this guy who played a Jew in Black Klansman.
Oh yeah.
And he's tall and he plays like.
Oh, he plays a bad guy.
He plays a bad guy. I liked his relationship with what's her name? Not Jen. Something. The girl. Anyway.
Like Ryder? No. Storm?
I'm blank.
I don't know.
Storm. But anyway, yeah, Luke Skywalker's fat now. How embarrassing. And even, I can't even look at that other guy the same. Han Solo the same. Han Solo became a simp. Just weak, pathetic. And then the woman died. Princess Leia died. All my childhood heroes just come tumbling down. No longer pretty.
Yeah, I was on a protest against the new ones because they're not the George Lucas.
Right. It's Disney, huh?
Yeah, and
I understand that. Yeah. I really liked some aspects of it. I did think they were all corny. I only liked the original 3 the best.
Yeah. They can't do it what George did.
Yeah. Interesting. I liked that. I sort of like the actor, Ewan McGregor. Ewan something, who played the guy he played Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah.
In the second 3. We're talking Star Wars because this guy, he's wearing a cardigan sweater thing.
I know.
And I'm like,
it's closer up. It doesn't even.
It's not even Luke Skywalker wannabe in a black shirt, messy hair, cool style, kid. And is he really a child, or is he? Does it say he's 22 years old or 23 years old? Why are they calling him child? He's a grown adult male. I think he's. Is it? I think it says 23 or. Anyway.
Yeah, 23.
Terrible. Anyway, my question was. Yeah, I liked that guy who was in Train Spotters or Train Spotting, whatever you call it. Ewan McGregor. But you didn't watch that either, huh?
I think I looked
the one with Jar Jar Binks.
I like Jar Jar Binks.
You did,
but
you would. Why am I not surprised? Anyway, go ahead.
But I've looked at some of the new ones. But
okay,
just in my heart, I have a strong stance.
I totally understand that, man. Yeah. So who does this? Is it the Poison people? Is it a bunch of 80s people did this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen T-shirts with the Ramones. And
okay.
You're probably right, The Cure and those kind of.
Anyway, he's misguided. He's an Antifa. He can't help it. He's the son of a female Democrat elected official. Can you blame him? Terrible. But he's 23. Embarrassing. Boston. Yeah, I guess he wouldn't last in Ohio, wherever Artie Art's from. Let me get to Dan in Wisconsin. Thank you, Hassan. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dan in Wisconsin on the line. How you doing, man?
Hey, Hake.
Hey.
All's well, brother.
Nice.
Good to talk to you again.
Good to hear from you again.
Hey, I actually listened to all of yesterday's show on my way to work. And then today's show in headphones. So I'm a little bit behind, but I did kind of follow the Crowder drama.
Yeah.
And I followed it pretty much every video that came out, and then kind of lawyer commentary and things like that.
Lawyer commentary?
And from what? Yeah, I don't know if you want me to name drop.
Well, Rakita was on JLP's show. Nick Rekieta.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
He was on the Fallen State with Jesse Lee Peterson. So
Him
I heard
and
that he
Robert
covered
Barnes.
it. Yeah.
So they're really good, and so like the initial video that started it, he actually like grayed out everything, and he didn't say a company name.
Right.
And Daily Wire actually outed themselves. Like they made a video, like it was us, and we offered him this, and
right.
And so there's been speculation, and obviously after listening to you and Jesse, it does seem like Crowder's always been really emotional, and he kind of just gets upset, but it might be an act. I don't really know him personally.
Right.
And it does seem like he could just be grifting his new movement, or he's, maybe he's trying to get Rumble to throw him a better offer. Who knows? But it just seems like that wasn't said. I'm a bit behind on the show today. So I don't know if people brought that up, but I just wanted to kind of fact check you on that.
Fact check me in terms of a fact that I left out that he may be trying to...
Yeah, like Crowder didn't actually... But it seems like it's a downward spiral. I don't even know if they're actually friends or they're just saying that. But
who's friends? Crowder and
company name. Yeah, and then the Jeremy.
I did mention that he wasn't going to name names, and the Daily Wire quote unquote outed themselves, which he had threatened to say, "Don't make me name names. Don't make me provide receipts." So he's making these threats and being off, and people are just speculating. Do you think Daily Wire was wrong for doing that? Being like, hey, this is what we did?
I think that the initial, or the first offer, whatever it's called, it's not a contract, it's something else. That was kind of, I think they lowballed him, like really bad, to the point where, Crowder got emotional.
Right.
And obviously, you don't want to get emotional, and then it just kind of, we saw the downward spiral, and it's just a battle, and who knows, right? Maybe they're still friends, and they're just like, "Hey, let's do this grift." And, it'll give both of us, money and views and clicks. And
right.
Like, it's drama. So.
True.
But it's just interesting, kind of hearing your perspective, and you and Hassan talking about it from kind of like an individual standpoint. But then again, I'm like, well, the actual movement against big tech, I think, is very important. And like trying to like pull like a James Veritas where it's needed, I think it was meant for him to reveal what he did. Just because people need to see that there's gatekeepers out there, and they're actually not what they say, like wolf in sheep's clothing, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I suppose you could say that. To me, he went about it all wrong. But my main point was the temptation to judge Crowder. And I guess a lot of you guys are judging Daily Wire, which to me, that's just, I haven't looked into it at all, so I can't really comment on it. But most of the people were judging Crowder they were saying, yeah, it was a bad contract, but he's being a woman about it. And so like all of this puffing up of the onlookers whose business it isn't our business anyway, but he put it out there, so he kind of made it. He made it some useless gossip drama to talk about. I don't think that it's bringing light into the situation, because although the big tech fight is important, quote unquote, maybe more important is our souls, and our souls aren't doing well with fighting over this stuff and puffing up and thinking we're better than this or that person and all that stuff. That's more important even than not getting screwed over. Pardon my, that's not really a bad word, but don't repeat that, kids. By some contractor or other. You know what I mean? Like, because we already knew that these people are not like real conservative, solid people.
Right, like controlled opposition.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NSA thing. When the NSA was outed as spying on Americans, a lot of us were like, I kind of assumed that already. You know, I guess it's good to know. It was proven, but it's like, who cares? it's kind of like, who cares, because you can't stop it anyway. That's my defeatist sort of thinking, because you're not going to stop it. But I don't know if that's a good point. Whatever. But
Well, I mean,
what made you so interested in it? Why did you follow it so closely?
Because Ricada has been following it.
Oh, so you've listened to his stuff.
Yeah, the 3 shows I watch is JLP, you, and Ricada.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes Crowder, but Crowder's been radio silent too, so that kind of brought the interest as well. So who knows? I mean, maybe it's just this big plan that they all, maybe Crowder's controlled up. I don't know.
They're all like controlled up. Controlled opposition means you're angry. If you're angry, you can be controlled to controlled opposition.
Yeah.
Haven't you noticed that?
Yeah.
That's more important than what's secret deals and stuff like that.
That's kind of like where our angry politicians yelling at the left, just saying they're going to start an investigation.
Yeah, or getting the some of the getting this or that group to do a terror attack or a phony what's smeared as a terror attack,
I think of the movie Tron, kind of like while I was listening to you today.
The old 80s one or the newer one?
The Disney one, ironically.
Is that older or newer?
One of my the older one, like the Legacy, the remake.
Oh, the remake.
And Bridges' character, he always kind of has his moment to like just sit and be still, and like when he goes into town to rescue his son, because his son pretty much was emotional and runs around and does things, on a whim.
Yeah.
Versus like being quiet and like let things, be revealed. And he has the moment where he just kind of like puts his hands down and he just like things change. So I kind of would think of how you and JLP say things like, if you're doing the silent prayer and your God is working on your heart and you're cleaning things up, like things will happen in the right way versus like you're saying now with this whole downward spiral and this emotion and battle of egos.
Yeah.
The wrong. So like it almost seems like it's the right thing, but it's not in the right manner, I guess.
Yeah, it's the spirit's evil.
Like it's a trick.
Right.
Like it sounds nice.
It's kind of like protests. Like what JLP said about protests, just a bunch of egos battling, devils fighting, and then the devil wins. The more evil side always wins.
Well, and it's like, I wish JLP would say the word alchemist more. I'm almost through his book.
The Antidote?
One of them.
Yeah.
And I just love that term. It's so accurate to me.
Nice. What does that mean, the alchemists? I forget.
The alchemists, like they're evil brewing potions and tricking people and witchcraft type of thing. Like something's going on, but it's just like a name for it, not like literally.
Right.
That's just what I understood it as.
And so they're finagling and manipulating society.
Yeah, they're leading us astray.
With the racism lines and sexism and all that stuff.
Yep.
And fake, phony fights, phony causes. Interesting, man.
Yep. Well, no, I appreciate your show. It's interesting, and I love when you say, Greta Thunberg.
Right on.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, there you go.
I appreciate it, Dan. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Hake. Take care.
All right, you too. Dan in Wisconsin. Guys, I regret to inform you that this has been the Hake Report. What a way to say that. I regret to inform you I cannot get to my favorite caller, Maze, in the sundown town of Dayton, Ohio. Wanted to comment on the Israelite conversation, and I am curious as to what she would say to the conversation between Artie Art from Ohio and Kentucky John, the Israelite. And then Giuseppe out of Texas, Tejas, says, you're missing the point on Crowder. And I am itching to know what point I am missing regarding based Steven Crowder. But guys, call me back tomorrow if you will, if I do have the Hake report, which I should. Thank you, guys. Super chatters and all that. I shall see you tomorrow, hopefully. And now is time for some Christian music, right? Isn't it time? I think it is. Yeah, it's a 3 minutes, three and a half, almost 4 minute song. Higher Ground by David Meece. Enjoy. Bye.
Soul starts